Perfect.
All right, well, students, I know I've already started speaking with you before we started recording, but I'm Miss Mankins, one of the counselors at Chaffin, joined by.
I'm Miss Ottman. I'm the other counselor here at Chaffin, and we are very excited to be with you this afternoon. And we especially look forward to you being on campus with us next year at Chaffin.
Absolutely. And our goal today is to take you through your green schedule form. This is your first of several times that we will do this with you. What we're doing today, we'll do again in 7th grade and in 8th grade, and making your schedule each year. Okay. Now it's been kind of interesting. You are actually our last elementary school that we get to visit with. Some like students at Orr and Bonneville were a little shocked, I think, at all of the choices and seemed a little like, whoa, this is a lot to think about. And then it was funny because students at Upper Lane, they're like, oh, we got this. We know exactly what we want to do. And so it's been kind of interesting to see. But what is very exciting about coming to middle school is you have an opportunity to be in a lot of the same classes. We have the same core classes, but you're going to have more choices when it comes to your electives. Okay. And that's really what we're going to talk to you most about today. So Miss Ottman's going to share her screen with you. And when she does, what you see on the screen is exactly what's on your paper. Okay.
Absolutely. All right. So everybody, I think we saw had their green sheet of paper, which is awesome. So we're going to walk you through today, beginning to fill this out. And hopefully by the end of your time with us today, you'll have a lot of good ideas about the classes that you want to sign up for so that you can go home and talk with your parents about that. So we're going to start at the very top, and there's a place for your name. So if you haven't already done so, if you could please neatly print your first and last name right there where it says student name, go ahead and do that. And then right underneath that is a spot for your student ID number. And that's the number that you use to log into your computer. So if you could also go ahead and write that, please. This will help. Hopefully nobody loses their paper, but this way your name is on it in case you do. The last thing that we're going to add right now at the top, just somewhere up there by that cougar, if you could please write that this is due back to your teacher at Barling by January 26th. You can absolutely bring it back sooner. Monday would be great, but definitely by January 26th. So write that somewhere at the top so that you and your parent know. Okay. All right. So if you look at your green course request form, you will notice that it's broken up into 3 sections. So the first section we're going to look at is right here towards the top where it says required courses. So as Ms. Mankins mentioned, whether you're coming to Chaffin or one of our other 3 fabulous junior highs, Ramsey or Darby or Kimmons, all of the required courses and the electives are going to be the same, but each 6th grader is going to already automatically be enrolled in English, in math, in social studies, and in science. So all of those classes are required courses that every single 6th grader will take. There's a 5th class also that you will take, which is advisory. And in middle school, we have advisory during 3rd period. And that's a class similar to your homeroom in elementary school. But it is a great time for you to, especially at the beginning of the year, we do a lot of things to help you get familiar with Chaffin, help you find your classes a little bit easier, to help you navigate the lunchroom, to help you learn better strategies for filling out your assignment book. All of those good things we'll work on in advisory, especially at the beginning of the year next year, starting in August. But those 4 classes, English, math, social studies, science, and then advisory. So your 4 core classes and advisory make up 5 of the 8 classes that you will have on your schedule here at Chaffin or whatever middle school you attend. So that means the remaining 3 courses are going to be made up with elective classes. And this is really the exciting part about middle school, is because you get to start making some choices and you get to start deciding what are some things that might interest you. One of the reasons I love middle school so much is you get to explore different things and really find out what your interests are, what things that you're especially good at, and you get to sign up for classes that you are really interested in taking. So as we begin to go through this next section, the elective section, Ms. Mankins is going to describe for you, and we're going to show you some really short recruiting videos from some of these classes. But this next elective section that we're going to look at, you are going to get to choose 2 classes. And these are going to be year-long electives. That means they will start when you come to school in August, and they will go all the way through the end of the school year. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these classes that we offer.
All right, so while Ms. Ottman gets the band video ready, the first one we're going to look at is the band training. And when you watch this video, what we want you to notice is all of the different instruments that you're going to see. And the reason I point this out to you is because later in April or May, we will have instrument tryouts. In fact, when your teachers receive the green schedules, there was also the band's a slip of, it's a flyer for band. You'll see Mr. Palmer hold it up in their video, and it has the QR code that your parents can scan. And basically takes them to the Chaffin Band Facebook page. And that is where they will post information on band tryouts. We will also email that information to your teachers, and we post everything on the Chaffin webpage and Facebook page, because we want you to come and try out on each of these instruments you see in this video. Go ahead, Ms. Ottman.
Hi, I'm Mr. McKissick,
And I'm Mr. Palmer, and we're the band directors here at Chaffin.
and we are so excited to give you the opportunity to be part of a band at Chaffin Middle School.
Band is a class where you learn how to play an instrument while learning how to read music and being part of a great team with all of your friends.
There's no experience necessary.
Here are the instruments that you'll have to choose from. These are what we consider to be our core instruments for band. You have the flute, the clarinet, the trumpet, French horn, trombone, and percussion. In your handouts, you should have received a flyer that looks like this. And after you've signed up for band on your schedule, you'll want to follow this QR code to our Google form where you'll register with us for up-to-date information on band and future information on instrument testing and instrument placement as we get you ready for the fall. Our contact info is down at the bottom. You've got both of our email addresses, and you'll want to make sure that you like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram.
We know that when you join the band, you'll have lots of fun, you'll make lifelong memories, and you'll learn so much.
So be sure to put the band on your schedule and be part of the band.
All right. So in that video, you saw all of the instruments that at band tryouts you'll have an opportunity to actually try to play a sound on. And when you come to that event, you and your parents, you'll get a score on each of those instruments. And how well you do on each of them is what will help you and your parents decide what instrument you would like to play. Now, a big question that students have asked is, how do we take care of getting a band instrument? Well, some students get a school issued instrument. Some students may rent an instrument. Some students may use an instrument that maybe they had an older sibling who came to Chaffin or one of the high schools and they use that instrument. But what we want all of our students to know is if you have any desire to be in band, we do not want worry about having to purchase an instrument to be something that would keep you or your parent from signing up for band, okay? Because just like Miss Ottman said when she shared what she loves about middle school is a time for you to try every and any music and athletic and club and enrichment activity that you have an opportunity to do, because this is a time for you to discover what your talents and your strengths and your interests are, okay? Now, the second music that we're going to look at, music activity at Chaffin, is orchestra. And believe it or not, there are some sixth graders at Chaffin who maybe they don't do sports, they don't have a lot of out of school responsibilities, and they actually sign up to learn 2 instruments as a sixth grader. Because just like Ms. Ottman mentioned, this section of your schedule, you're actually picking 2 year-long electives. Now, the orchestra is a little bit different than band. You don't come in April and May to try out, and you also don't have to provide an instrument. All of these instruments are provided. But one thing that we have said to all of our schools that we visited with is orchestra is not those of you that learn how to play piano in lessons, or maybe you have an acoustic guitar or an electric bass. Orchestra is instruments like violin, viola, and cello. And if you choose to join orchestra at Chaffin or any of our middle schools, those instruments are provided for you. And I think, Ms. Ottman, just like I knew there were a few kids from Uber Lane in this video, I think Barling students, you may recognize some of Barling students that are in 6th and 7th grade orchestra. So check it out.
Goodness.
Please. There we go. Pretty exciting. I love that. I like the music in this. So now you've seen 2 of our music programs. So maybe already on your paper, you've put an X or check marks next to band or orchestra. Now, I'd already mentioned to you that there are some students, some 6th graders and 7th graders that choose to do 2 instrument classes. But most of our students, instead of doing 2 instrument classes, because that's making a pretty big commitment. That's almost like learning 2 languages at one time and learning 2 different instruments. So what some of our students may do is take band or orchestra, and then their second music class might be choir. And I want you to notice before we watch the choir video that there is a 6th grade male choir and then a 6th grade female choir. And that is the same in 7th and 8th grade. All right. Now, teachers, this video is a little bit softer than the band and orchestra one. So you might have to adjust your volume to being louder. Here we go.
I'm here to tell you that if you're thinking about joining choir, you need to do it. And if you're not thinking about joining choir, you should be.
Learning some new things, competing, if you like to compete, and I think definitely it's brought me out of my shell socially.
You're going to become a better musician. You're going to become more confident. I think you should join choir because you'll learn a lot, learn how to sing correctly, learn how to read music. You get to sing amazing music, all the way from pop music that you hear on the radio to choir music that you wouldn't necessarily hear. It still is amazing just to hear what you produce after months of practice.
Unlike any other music program, such as orchestra and band, you get to express music using words.
It gives you a lot of fun experiences.
It's a great time when we're doing work and when we're not doing work.
You're going to meet a lot of new people and create a lot of new bonds with people that you probably wouldn't even talk to if it wasn't for choir.
I like being there with my friends.
So many friends. It gives you friends you thought you never had. And sing with your friends. You get to meet amazing friends. When you rehearse with people every day, when you create a connection with someone through music, it's such a deep bond. There's no better feeling than making wonderful music with your friends. You should not waste an opportunity to join choir because I guarantee you won't regret it. Like I said, if you're thinking about joining, do it. And if you're not thinking about joining, join anyway.
All right, so band training, orchestra, or male and female choir. Now, I love, and you were my final group to say this too. It kind of makes me sad, but I love that the choir video has Maddie because she is actually a Chaffin. She was a Chaffin student, and she is a great example of what we're encouraging you to do today by signing up for music and athletic, all these other electives that we're about to talk more about. Because Maddie was a student that when she came to us in 7th grade, she did sign up for choir. She's even in it at Northside. But what I also love about Maddie is she was an athlete. So she was an example of one of our students that did do in music and also chose to be in athletics. So what I'd like for you to look at now on your screen is where it says PE/health and where it says exploratory for athletics. Okay. Now, this is just like music. It is a year-long class. And this is a class for those of you, especially that have any desire to be in a sport at Chaffin or to be on the North Side or South Side team someday for football or volleyball or wrestling or track, whatever it may be, then you should sign up for 6th grade athletics. Again, this is a year-long PE class. Now, Ms. Ottman and I will tell you that almost all of our 6th grade class this year signed up for 6th grade athletics. And here's the reasons why. One, we encouraged everybody last year to get involved in the 6th grade athletics class because it's an introduction to sports. And I'm going to explain that more in just a minute. But also, you all are very used to going to PE multiple times a week and having your daily recess. Well, we don't have that in middle school. So because we don't have that recess time in middle school, most of our 6th graders wanted to go to athletics, so they had some activity time every day. Okay, now there may be some of you sitting in Barling right now thinking, I have no desire to be in a year long of PE. Well, we're going to talk about a class for you next. But in 6th grade athletics, you have an introduction to flag football, an introduction to cross country and volleyball. Those are our fall sports. In the spring, we do basketball, track, and what our 6th graders are really excited about is in the 4th 9 weeks, they're going to be doing soccer. So the goal in 6th grade athletics is you're in a PE class that's with all of our coaches. It is a 6th grade only PE class, and it gives you a chance, especially those of you that have not played, maybe for Boys and Girls Club, maybe you've never played for Girls Inc., maybe you don't do a private league. This gives you a chance to learn about our sports so that you are better prepared to try out for sport in 7th or 8th grade. Okay. So again, some 6th graders sign up for the year-long athletics because they want to be in sports in middle school and high school. And some sign up for the 6th grade athletics class just because they know that in middle school, we don't have recess. So that gives them some time to be in that type of a class and setting with their friends. Okay. But that is a year-long class. So right now, Some of you may have marked one music class. Maybe you had two musics down, but as I started talking about this athletic class, you're thinking, oh, I really want to do that instead. Well, remember, you have two choices here that you get to make. The last year-long class before Ms. Ottman starts talking to you about the bottom of your paper, the last one I want you to look at is GATE. Now, this class is not for everyone, okay? This class, some of you at Barling may have already tested for GATE, and maybe you go to GATE pullouts already, all right? If that is you, and you are currently in GATE, teachers especially, please help communicate this. We did to parents at our parent night this week. If you're currently in GATE, you are not going to have to retest to do GATE next year. All right, that's been a big concern. It is something that we had to do in the past. But as of now, students that are in GATE can mark it on their schedule and they're not having to be retested. If you are new to Barling, or maybe the last 2 years, maybe you were virtual or you just moved to our area and you've never tested for GATE, it is not too late for you to test for GATE. In fact, we have a large number of students when school begins, when school starts in August, who their parents ask if they can be tested, and they are tested, and some of them make it based upon their scores, and they might move in a GATE class. And other students, they wait until the next school year, okay? So if you are currently in GATE and you would like to be in that class, you can mark it on your schedule, okay? So students, as of right now, Ms. Altman's talked to you about the 4 classes that everybody has the same at all of the middle schools. Even these year-long electives are the same at all 4 middle schools, okay? So hopefully by now you've either put a check mark or X next to 2 classes in this very middle section, okay? Now, Ms. Altman's going to talk to you about the bottom of your schedule where you get to pick 1 more class to take next school year.
Okay, so the bottom is all about our elective wheel. And this is something really cool that we just offer to 6th graders at Chaffin and at the other 3 or middle schools as well. I will tell you that as a 7th grader or as an 8th grader, most of your classes are going to be year-long or semester classes, meaning they're half of the year. But this elective wheel is pretty cool because it allows you to take 4 different classes throughout the year, so that each class is just a small 9-week class so that you can try these different classes before you sign up for them as a 7th or 8th grader. So you can see that every 6th grader will take STEM, Career Connections, and Art. Those have already been marked for you. And then you will get to choose 1 more as your 4th component of the wheel that we will talk about in just a moment. So first, let's talk about the ones that are already marked for you. So what is STEM? Well, most of you or some of you might know that STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. So STEM is, again, just a 9-week class that is project-based. And that means that you do little projects throughout the class. So you might be working together with a small group of students, 2 to 4 kids in one group. You might be working by yourself to complete some sort of a project where you're using those components of science, technology, engineering, and math. You also learn some time management, and you also focus on problem solving and being super creative in STEM. Career Connections is the next class that is already marked for you. And in Career Connections, you get an introduction to the different career paths. You also learn a little bit more about you as a learner, your learning styles, what your interests are, so that as you go into 7th grade Career Connections and 8th grade Career Connections, you already know those things and you are able to explore your individual career paths a little bit more. Art comes next, and I think most of us are familiar with art. However, Miss Frost, our art teacher here at Chaffin, does a really great job of doing lots of little projects, art projects with you, so that you are able to discover all the different things there are in an art class. So there's some coloring, some cutting, some different projects that you will complete so that you can see what art can truly be about at the middle school level. All right, so the fun part now comes in choosing one more class to complete your elective wheel. So the other classes that we offer are Spanish, PE and health, music, and computer applications. So Spanish, again, just a 9-week class. You will learn basic conversational Spanish, color words, numbers, just some ways to communicate in Spanish. And if that is something that you really like, then you know that you could take Spanish again as a 7th or 8th grader. So if that sounds interesting to you, you could mark Spanish. Ms. Mankins mentioned earlier that most 6th grade students actually take the year-long PE and health class. However, there are some students, and we've joked, kind of like Miss Mankins and Miss Ottman, who might not want to have PE every single day. So if you are not signing up for the year-long health and PE class, you will need to mark this PE and health class, because every 6th grader needs to take PE at some point. So you can take a short 9-week PE class, or you can take the longer year-long version. Next comes music. This class is, again, a lot like the music class that you've had in elementary. There's some foundational things that you will learn. You will also learn about the basic instruments. We've had a lot of 6th graders who maybe didn't sign up for either band or orchestra, and then who signed up for this music class and maybe went on their 7th grade year to choose to play an instrument. So again, this is a class that you are not going to sign up for music if you've already put a check mark next to band or next to orchestra. But if you signed up for choir and you think you might be interested in playing an instrument, or you just really like music and want to learn more about it, then you can select this 9-week long music class. The final option you have is computer applications. And this is a class for students who especially like technology, who would like to get better at typing, who are interested in learning more about Google Docs or Google Slides and want to make their slideshows a little bit better. So if that is something that sounds interesting to you, then you can choose computer applications as your 4th elective wheel course. Okay, so this is a place on your schedule where you have the opportunity to choose one more elective class, and that class is going to be that 9-week class that completes your wheel. So at this point, hopefully you have 3 check marks that you've made, or X's, 2 underneath the year-long electives, and then 1 here in this bottom section. And the last thing that you need to notice is that at the very bottom, there's a place for your parent or your guardian to sign. So it's a great, I know it's Friday and you're looking forward to the weekend, but when you take this home tonight, don't forget about it. And make sure that you show it to somebody at home, have a conversation about it, about what your interests are, what you might like to sign up for, and then make sure you get a parent or guardian signature, and then you will be ready to bring that back to school with you on Monday and turn it in. Okay? Any questions?
So teachers, if there's any questions, again, students, when you hear about all the different classes and all the things, I think that's where it gets a little overwhelming. But then when you look at your schedule form, you realize that you're picking out really 3 classes. You have the choice in 3 of those classes. Okay. Now, students, while teachers are kind of circulating and maybe taking any questions, I want to also have you look at the bottom of the form where in gray it says May 20th. Okay, you'll see Miss Ottman's kind of circling the mouse there. And I point that out to you because I know that we're asking you in a week to get this turned back into your homeroom teacher. Some of you, once you come to band tryouts, you may change your mind about an elective that you want to do, or maybe in talking to some friends in your neighborhood or people that you go to church with, or maybe you play ball with, you know, you may be kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this elective or not. So what we want to remind you of is that May 20th is towards the end of the school year. So if after you turn in your schedule, if you or your parents change your mind about one of the classes, one of the 3 classes you've marked, you have until May 20th to let us know, and we will share this again and again with your parents. They can call Chaffin and ask for the counselors, or send us an email and say, my student so-and-so would like to change to this elective instead. Or for those of you that maybe aren't sure if you want to still do GATE because you really want to try 2 music classes or a music and a sport. The other things soon to be 6th graders that we want to share with you is, because you all are coming to us in 6th grade, you may try one music class in 6th grade and decide that that's not really what you want to do. And then in 7th grade, try a different one. That totally happens. And just like Ms. Ottman has said, the music class, we've had some students that once they did that 9-week music class, they were ready to sign up for band or orchestra. So a lot of decisions get changed, and that's okay. And I think we might have lost one of your teachers. I hope she didn't get kicked out of it, but if she did, we had gone through it. So, but at this time, students, we're going to stop the recording and just give a chance for your teacher